Hi Blog World, my name is Damien Beard and this week we're covering systems engineering. So this week I'm going to run through the most important points I took from this week and why I think they're important and how I think they fit into systems engineering. So point number one, if you want to take a systems engineering approach to your project, you need to start early. It's not enough to and and maybe build a prototype and maybe make some designs, then get through halfway through your project and decide, you know what, maybe I'm going to take on a systems engineering approach. You need to make that choice early, and there are two reasons for that. Firstly, you want to keep your client in the loop. You want them to know what you're doing and how you're going to solve their problem. I mean, they're going to be paying you, so they're going to want to know. Point number two, if you try and change to a systems engineering approach halfway through your project when you've been using an analytical approach or a different methodology, you're going to screw everything up. If you've gone in with one mindset, you can't change halfway through a project and hope that it's going to be okay. If you want to use it, start it early. Second point from this week is that ask the clients 3 times what they want from the project. Why is this? Because people change their minds. And sometimes they may not know what they want. And sometimes they know what they want, but it's not what they need. So ask 3 times to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Okay, third point, which comes from the panel this week, is the ability to say, I don't know. The benefit of this one doesn't just apply to systems engineering. This is a lesson you can learn in all walks of life. It's all about just saying, I'm not sure, and just asking for help. Your client's going to be a lot happier if you stopped, you got help, and you did the project right the first time, rather than just going in gung-ho and then coming back with your tail between your legs and asking for forgiveness later. Point number 4 is it's our job to fit the requirements. You are very talented. You can always make the project better because you're skilled. That may not be the best thing to do though. It's our job to get the project done, get it in on time, and make sure that it fits the requirements that the client wants. The fact that you can make it better doesn't necessarily mean you should make it better. First priority is make sure it does the thing right before you try and make it fancy or expand on it or do something that the client hasn't asked for. Fifth point, which is definitely the most crucial of all the points this week which relate to systems engineering, which is why it was kept to last, is that above all, you've always got to keep the big picture in mind. That is what systems engineering is all about. At the heart of it, you always need to keep the big picture in mind and see the system as a whole rather than get bogged down in the details. The example we were given was software being built for the AIS, and when the developers were asked, what is the purpose of this software? And they said, you know, it's to fit in with the servers to make this run better, to fit on the network, blah, blah, blah. No, the correct answer is to help us win more medals. We have to remember, as Richard Jones said, people are buying solutions to their problems, not our software. And you have to keep that in mind at every aspect of the project. So when you're selling it to the client or when you're trying to explain it to them, you always need to remember they don't care how it fits on their server. They want to know how their problem is going to be fixed by your software. And I think that methodology is the biggest difference between how we've been taught software engineering up until this point, as opposed to how systems engineering works, which I do discuss further down in the write-up for this week's reflection. Finally, for this week, I just want to bring up the fact that feedback was highlighted again. So we were introduced to the new systems engineering cycle, the feedback cycle for that, which looks suspiciously like the OODA loop from last week. So you can kind of see how these weeks are leading into each other and they're fitting together. So I assume that's going to keep happening with these sort of things for the rest of the semester. Anyway, thanks for watching and I will see you next week. See ya.